What's good, everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the most important thing and the best thing you can possibly do as a young guy in your 20s who's trying to make a name for himself, who's trying to make a way for himself, trying to stack up some cash for the summer, become successful, whatever you want to call it, okay? This is by far the best thing you could do, and I've seen so many examples of young guys going through this, taking it seriously, and they end up being very successful in a short amount of time. 3-6 months down the line, they're a completely different person, okay? So before we get into it, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe if you're new to the channel. And my name is Matt Jacob as well. I help people get into remote appointment setting, which is essentially messaging people and getting paid for it. And it's remote, it's online. You can learn more about myself and my stuff below, but enough about that. You're in your 20s, you're young, let's say you just graduated and you have a lot of time this summer. The best possible thing you can do to start becoming more successful is stacking skills. Stacking skills is the way to go, and let me tell you why. Because when you stack skills, you know what they say, skills, they pay the bills. Skills pay the bills. Once you learn a skill, whether that's riding a bike, whether that's learning how to swim, whether that's learning how to run an agency, whether that's learning how to sell, which I'll get into later, that will never leave you for as long as you work that muscle for. You know, skills are like a muscle. It takes a bit of time, it takes a bit of effort to build up in the beginning, but once you have it, it's really strong and it's really embedded in your identity to the point where it almost never leaves you for as long as you keep practicing it and using the skill forever. So a lot of these successful people, or a lot of young guys who I see who they dedicate the next 3 to 6 to 12 months stacking skills, they end up being very successful because you can learn multiple skills instead of just one. You can also, like I said, it never leaves you. Once you get good at a skill, it becomes part of your identity. So if someone's dedicated, let's say you dedicated the next 3 to 6 months or this next summer being obsessed with learning how to sell, with human psychology, with persuasion, hopping on sales calls if you're a remote closer, or getting on a setting offer and learning how to sell and then going up from there. If you obsess with yourself with that for the next 3 to 6 months, I guarantee you're going to be extremely proficient in sales. And you know what they say about sales is you never go broke if you know how to sell, all right? Doesn't matter how the economy is. And this is going to lead on to my other reason why skills are so important and why you should learn on stacking them, as opposed to, let's say, putting your money into a meme coin and then hoping and waiting for it to skyrocket and to pump, okay? There's almost no reliability, unless you know what you're doing. There's almost no reliability in doing that. However, there's a lot of reliability in learning skills, okay? When you learn skills as well, you become extremely and way more valuable in the marketplace than if you were just some person, you know, like I said, you're relying on luck, you're putting your money into crypto and you're only relying on crypto. But if you stack skills, sales, marketing, building an offer, client delivery, building a team, communication, human psychology, all those skills, mindset as well, managing your state, because day to day you're going to be up, you're going to be down, and there's a lot of unpredictability in that. But if you can keep a steady state, if you can keep your head straight on the mission, and you know how to deal with tough times, that's a skill in and of itself. Here's the thing, a lot of young guys that I speak to, they say they don't have the money, they're not in a good financial situation, but what do you guys have on your side? If you don't have, unless you have a kid or you're working 2 jobs at the same time, your best thing that you have right now is your time. You have your time and your effort, and time's gonna go by anyway. Whether you choose to work hard this summer or not, whether you choose to put that time into learning skills, learning sales, learning appointment setting, doing something instead of sitting on your ass doing nothing like I used to do, you're better off learning a skill. You're better off making that time useful as opposed to not doing anything. Whatever excuse comes up, it's gonna be too much work. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to learn. I don't have money for these courses and mentorships. It doesn't matter, you guys. Like, oh, it's really, I'm not a natural salesperson. I'm an introvert. You can keep coping, guys. You can keep coping, but like I said, time's just gonna go by either way. Time's gonna go by. 6 months are gonna go by anyway, so you can either use that 6 months coping and complaining and blaming other circumstances, or you can use those 6 months, take complete ownership, be like, look, I'm not where I wanna be. There's a lot I don't know. There's a lot of skills that I have to pick up. Why don't I use this time, even if I'm gonna fail, which is part of the process anyway, why don't I just use that time to just fail a lot and learn this game and become obsessed at it? And then, you know, let's say, God forbid, like touch wood, let's say it doesn't work out after 6 months. Let's say after 6 months, you're still not where you wanna be. At least you use that time wisely, okay? So, stack skills this summer. That should be your number 1 priority. Get your mindset on point, because once you've mastered those skills, you can make as much money as you want. You can be as successful as you want. Let's say you've been to the gym. Let's say you go to the gym a lot. Think back to the time when you weren't going to the gym. That version of you that wasn't going to the gym, that was unhealthy, that didn't know how to do a bench press or an overhead press or a pull-up. Those were skills. Now you know those skills, and look what it has resulted into. It's resulted in you becoming stronger, becoming more fit, losing weight, or gaining muscle. So you learn X skill, you put the reps in, you give it over a consistent amount of time, and then you get XYZ result. That's just how it works, okay? You get out what you put in, okay? Like when I started off, for example, so if you don't know me, kind of my backstory is I had 3, 4, like many failed businesses. I tried to run a coaching business before this. I tried to resell clothes. I tried to do freelancing on Fiverr, logo design. And I wasn't making much here and there, to be honest. It was a flop. And the reason why was a couple things, but the main reasons why, as I said, is going to be down to skills. I didn't have the skill set back then when I was running my old coaching business to make it work, to sign clients, to communicate effectively with clients, to sell them, to make content that appeals to them and get them watching and become loyal. I didn't have any of those skills back then. No wonder why the first coaching business I had flopped, okay? I didn't have reliability in my skills to say, okay, I can keep this going. I can sign clients consistently. I can get them results consistently. I didn't have those back then. That's why it didn't work out. When I was getting paid $5 to $10 for a logo design back in like high school, 3 to 5 years ago, yes, I had the skill of logo design, but that skill in of itself was not valuable enough to help you get paid more, okay? You get paid in relation to the skills, to the value you put out in the marketplace. Logo design, you can get any kid on Fiverr to do that for you, okay? And yeah, there's some really good ones out there. I know there's some logo designers who get paid a lot of money, and you know, all props to them. But there's better, higher leverage skills out there, like sales, like appointment setting, like marketing. So your time is better well spent learning those high leverage skills where you're able to get paid more. And even if you just put in 1 to 2 hours into that, you don't get paid in relation to your time. You get paid, like I said, in relation to the value you put in the marketplace. There's a lot of consultants, there's a lot of coaches out there, there's a lot of successful people out there who only work 1 to 2 to 3 hours a day. They just check in on their business, or they hop on the phones, have a couple meetings, and then they make more money than most people. Why? Because of the value, not because of the time. You have to put in time, of course, like I said, to learn the skill, to perfect it, to make mistakes, to reflect on it and iterate. However, you get to a point where you become so freaking good that it just becomes human nature, it becomes human instinct. You know how to sell. You can throw yourself in any environment. You can have a bad day, a good day. Doesn't matter the niche of the offer, the price point, the type of prospect. You become so good at sales. You become so good at setting. Whatever skill you choose to master, it doesn't matter what circumstances are. You're gonna get paid, all right? And there's a lot of confidence in that. And I want every single one of you guys to have that sort of confidence and that reassurance that, hey, I know these things. I know the people are gonna pay me a lot of money because I know these things and I can implement it. I also have the work ethic to put out the reps and just outperform everyone else who has the same skill. This is gonna be the rest of my life. Like, there's a lot of reassurance in that, okay? So if that's not you yet, hurry up, start getting to that stage now. If you have the rest of the summer to learn these skills, to put in the time, to read books, to watch videos, to take mock calls, for example, to practice, to have people who will hold you accountable to it. Don't let it go to waste, okay? So please, learn skills, especially when you're young. If you're old, doesn't matter. Still learn skills. Skills will pay the bills, it won't leave you, and you're not relying on luck as if you're relying just purely on the market and not your skill set, okay? So learn skills, that's the best thing I can tell you guys, and get to work, all right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe if you're new to the channel. Check out my socials if you want to hit me up, links in the description. But other than that, use the summer to learn skills, and I'll see you in the next one.